Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today I'm going to go over oil, gas, and coal, do some technical analysis. I'm waiting for this to break to the upside. We had a stronger dollar today, which puts pressure on oil and natural gas, obviously. So let's look at the charts. Let's see if anything's broken or if they look good. Usually when you have a strong dollar, what I'd like to see is a small down day. It means that the buyers are still in control. There's not too many sellers here to really push it lower. So let's take a look, and I'll give you my financial opinion. It's not supposed to be used as financial advice. So here we go. Oil, gas, and coal, the fossil fuels. So we're still in this kind of small downtrend, but the thing that looks positive here is we've got these big buying pressure candlesticks. Boom, this bullish engulfing pattern came on up, and we've got two smaller down days. I like seeing that, and I think it's poised, if we get a weaker dollar here, to move on up and break through this little downtrend line. Natural gas is throwing a small short-term potentially pullback here, and we've been pretty strong here, so it's probably going to cycle down a little bit before moving higher. That looks normal. SM Energy, we broke the downtrend. We've got two small little down days here. I think this looks really good to continue higher. If we see oil move higher and the dollar move lower, I think we're primed to move higher here, I think. In SM. CDEV looks very good as well. We tried selling off a little bit, but the buyer stepped back in and pushed it on up, almost like a bullish engulfing or a bullish piercing pattern, which means statistically we could move higher. We're right there at the downtrend line. So usually what happens is you throw a couple of these signals. We got a bullish engulfing here. We came up, and I think we're ready to break through this. All we need is oil to firm up and move on up. So I like it here. Callum Petroleum, same thing. We got a small little down day today. Looks good. Looks good to move higher if oil's poised to move higher and the dollar lower. The dollar is moving up on the short term, the very, very short term. So this may move sideways a little bit longer. But these are behaving very well for a down day in oil. It's like they want to move higher. Tellurian as well, we've got this downtrend. And it's like we're ready to come up and try to break through it. Looks good. Contango Oil and Gas, again, the downtrend line. Two small little down days. Let's hope it stays together and we can move higher. Crew Energy, we're still in the downtrend again, just like the rest of the group. Small little bit of a down day today, but it's smaller in comparison to some of these big up days. So it looks okay. Grand Tierra Energy broke the downtrend. This thing's looking good. Let's look from a big long-term perspective. Looking at the downtrend line, we broke out. We kind of back testing, and let's see if we can move higher. Now, Reconnaissance Energy Africa, this thing sold off pretty large today. I did buy some up here, and the sellers are coming in and selling this thing off. So this one doesn't look nearly as good as some of the other companies. So you might see some more short-term pressure. It's gaining momentum too in the sellers with the volume. So we'll see where this thing ends up. Maybe it's trying to close this gap at $3. Not exactly sure, but I'm just holding on. Tetra Technologies looks good. Small little down day today. Nothing too much to worry about. We broke the downtrend line. I think this is primed to go higher. Just waiting for oil to go higher. Transocean, an energy service company. This one looks good to move on up. Bullish piercing pattern to move on higher statistically. Comstock Resources is waiting for nobody. Looks like it just blew through the stop sign that everyone else was seeing, and it is moving on up. From a little bit longer perspective view, this thing looks pretty good to move on higher. It's a high debt company, high leverage, and if we get the natural gas price to move way on up, I think this will continue higher. Its financials will improve dramatically with higher natural gas prices. And Antero Resources, again, you draw the pattern here. This broke to the upside already. Looks fantastic. Small little down day. Nothing to worry about. Now coal's been on a tear. It broke out of this pattern here, and it's not looked back. It's beelining higher. The stock Peabody Energy doing incredibly well, broke to the upside of this little pattern here. It's continuing to move higher. This is a reverse head and shoulders pattern on a big long-term perspective. I think I charted this out for everybody, said, hey, look, this is good to buy. I just haven't been a huge coal fan, but you know what? That's worked against me. Not being a coal fan has definitely lost me an opportunity, because I could have easily purchased it when I charted it here at about $5, a little bit less, and it's just continued to rocket higher. So everyone who's called coal a good purchase, good job. And remember, look at symmetry. The symmetry on this down move, there wasn't much resistance. It just fell down. The upside is usually pretty close to the downside, and I think you could maybe even get double where you're at today. 32.50 doesn't look like too much resistance between you and 30-something bucks. The projected move here is about 22.50-ish. So you got a little bit longer before you hit the projected move, and then we'll see if it continues to carry higher. Arc Coal's another one that's doing fantastic. Looks good. Long-term perspective, it broke this $50 range, and it's just continued to move on up. Look at the symmetry here. You are going to come into some resistance through here where it's at. Anywhere around this $80, $83 range. So that's what I've got for today in the oil and gas sector. I think the majority of oil looks pretty good. I think it looks really strong. We just need a weaker dollar and the oil to move up. If oil moves up, I think CDEV is ready to go. I think SM Energy is ready to go. Callon Petroleum looks pretty good. A lot of these companies look pretty good to break and move on higher. The only one that concerns me a little bit is Reconnaissance Africa. It sold off pretty hard today. I'd have to look to see if there's any news. But that was one that I was hoping could really, put some jets under the portfolio. But I did add a little bit, and I'm caught in it, so I'm riding it lower with it. I'm not really going to do much with it. I do think they have a ton of oil. They are proving up they're proving that something is there. And when they get this data, hopefully they say this is a monster find. So I'm sticking with it. There's nothing really worrying me. I'm not afraid of losing some money in the short term. And even if I lose money on this, I'm still not that afraid, because I've controlled it with my portfolio sizing and my position. Some of my other ones, I have a pretty good outlook on, like Centennial Development and SM Energy, and they've made me a lot of money. So if they continue to move on higher here, it's going to be a huge tailwind to the whole portfolio, because they're some of my larger holdings. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys listening. This is Finding Value.